race finishes for the series points lead. But Travis Pastrana has now won 2 in a row and is charging in on Sellards fast. Pastrana has his own worries. Stefan Roncada has won 2 races himself and 1 mistake by the 2 front runners, and he could find himself leading the title chase. Anything can and probably will happen tonight as the EA Sports Supercross stars return to Pontiac, Michigan. Welcome to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Hello, everyone. I'm Art Ekman along with former Supercross champion David Bailey. Last week's win by David Villeman kept his hopes alive for the Vans Triple Crown, which could mean a bonus of $500,000 should he win the final round in Las Vegas. It also kept his points hopes alive in the championship race, narrowing his points lead, Jeremy McGrath's lead, that is, to 25 points, David.
This is getting dangerous for McGrath. He's never had this kind of competition this late in the season. The Cobra, they call him David Villeman, in his first year here in the United States has been amazing. If you look at the Suzuki points right there, you'll see that he's only 25 points back, really keeping it dangerously close to McGrath for the title. You can see that Carmichael, after that crash last week, has dropped to that 19th place, has really dropped him back in the points, allowing Kevin Windham to start to close that gap.
The rider who's probably had the best seat in the action, watching Villeman and McGrath take the checkered flags this year, has been Mike LaRocco. LaRocco's been on the podium 5 times, but each time a Yamaha's finished in front of it.
And that's got to be frustrating because McGrath was the one that kept beating LaRocco to the finish, and now that LaRocco finally beat McGrath last week, Villeman steps up to the plate. So it's got to be frustrating for him. He's got the talent, he's got the speed, the equipment. And the last time he won a Supercross was right here in this building. I have a feeling he's remembering that right now.
Our colleague, Davey Coombs, spoke with the guy who's trying to narrow the gap between him and Jeremy McGrath, as well as the young man who hopes to beat both of them.
Back here in the pits, got 2 of the contenders for tonight's 250 class, David Villeman and Mike LaRocco. Right here, David. Last week, wonderful ride in Minneapolis. Do you feel like you still have the momentum?
Yeah, I did a good race last week, and I have to keep the momentum tonight and just get a good start and be consistent 20 laps. And hopefully I can get some more points back from Jeremy.
Right. Over here, Mike LaRocco. Mike, last week was one of your best races. You came through the back of the pack to finish second. What do you got to do to get that last spot?
It's hard to say. I mean, I've been chasing it all year. I mean, my AMSOIL competition accessory Honda's working good. I feel good on the bike. It's just first 5 laps of the race have been, my speed's not as good as it is at the end. So if I can figure that out, I think I can get it.
All right. We'll watch these 2 guys tonight as the main event kicks off here at Pontiac.
David, let's take a look at the track map right now. It looks like it's a very busy track tonight.
Well, right off the bat, that start, the first corner is very tight. And I would be surprised if weren't some riders going off over the outside during the race. Also another tricky section as they approach the finish right there. A lot of different timing right there we've seen so far. But the section we want to highlight for you right now is the sand section. After they go across in front of the starting line, you see they move into this berm right here, and then it's whoops through that section. That's going to be tough all night. It just keeps changing lap after lap. Each time you come through there, 19 more guys come through there and move that line around.
Our qualifying procedure, the top 4 riders from each of 2 qualifying heats advance directly to the main event. For the rest, it's on to the semis where the top 5 transfer. The final 2 gate positions come out of the last chance qualifier. There's extra incentive to make the main and do well tonight, for this is the 3rd of 4 WrenchHead.com Super Fund rounds. An extra $44,500 pushes the purse to $105,000. 4th place through 20th even gets an extra $1,000 apiece. David.
McGrath's already made a little over $40,000 off this, winning the first 2 events of this series tonight, going for $60,000, can make it $80,000 in Chicago.
Here in the lineup for the Heat 1, David Villeman, number 934, coming off his 3rd win of the season. Mike LaRocco looking for his first victory. Sebastian Tortelli, his only podium was right here in the first matchup at Pontiac. John Dowd, Sebastian Waugh, Jason Thomas looking for that Ironman honor. Robbie Raynard, Ryan Huffman, his first race of the year. Florida sideways, qualifying heat number 1. Looked like Johnson took the whole shot, but taking over it in the whoops, Robbie Raynard, number 17 of Team Suzuki. And right behind him, Sebastian Tortelli, number 21.
This just looks like last week. Raynard getting off to the hole shot. Tortelli and Villeman in tow right there in contention. LaRocco, not a bad start, running 5th right now. But the question is, can Raynard run 8 laps at the pace he's capable of running for a few? If he can, he's awesome, but he's been having arm pump problems.
The battle for second is on. 9:34. David Villeman trying to pull away. His sights are up in front of him, that's for sure.
Well, Sebastian Tortelli had made a mistake, gone down, gave up second place to Villeman right now, so it looked good for Tortelli for a moment. Now he's going to have to come from behind, and shame. He had the ball rolling here, looked great in practice, and remember the last time we were in this venue, he finished second, his best race of the season.
Still holding into a good qualifying position is the 125 rider out of the West, Isaiah Johnson, number 68. John Dowd, number 16. Jason McCormick, number 36. All in a battle looking for that 3rd position and 4th position. Dowd right behind Isaiah Johnson.
Coming off a good performance last week, too.
Yeah.
Battling with Tortelli right down to the wire, keeping him honest. And Larry Ward, his teammate for Kawasaki, finishing right behind Dowd. So although Carmichael went down and scored no points, it wasn't a bad night at all for Kawasaki. Need to keep the ball rolling here.
There's Jason McCormick, number 36, hoping to get into the top 4.
Ruts are starting to develop out there a little bit, and Raynard just pulled out to a huge lead, but Villeman now has started to close slightly, opened up a huge lead over this pack we're watching in 3rd.
Raynard has been back after a little while, after taking 2 races off to extend his rehab for the nerve damage and the deltoid muscle. He had big arm pump in those races after coming back and decided to rest some more. He's been fast in qualifying. He's been 3rd and 4th in the last 2 races in qualifying, but he gets into the main and he's had 2 17th place results.
Whole different story. Maybe you look at guys like Grayson Goodman, he gets the whole shot in heat races and semis, last chance qualifiers, but the main event, you rarely see him up there at the start. It's a mental game, and you have a completely different approach when you're on the starting line with that much talent.
68 Isaiah Johnson trying to hold off John Dowd.
Great ride for Isaiah. Nice. He can just finish 3rd, transfer right out to the main event. Dowd is just all over. Watch the whoops right here. This is where Dowd usually is strong.
Here comes John Dowd to the inside. Dowdy takes Isaiah Johnson.
That's a little bit technique from Dowd, a little bit more experience, a little more strength and confidence entering a whoop section like that. Also factory suspension versus privateer suspension.
Isaiah Johnson still in 3rd place. This would be the first time he would make it out of a qualifying heat if he can hold on. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome to the Suzuki Fest 2000 Deli. Care to try a new Suzuki motorcycle with $400 free accessories? I suggest the Katana 750 or 600 and a helmet. The Bandit 1200 and 600 are house favorites and go great with leather jackets. Today's special is the GS 500E.
Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross, being brought to you by Honda, maker of the all-new Rancher, built for the ranch we called Earth. By Toyota Trucks, unbreakable every day. And by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. First qualifying round for the 250s from Pontiac, Michigan. Robbie Raynard, who twice has gotten good 17th place starts in the main events, but has faded to 8th and 11th since coming back from his injury. He's getting a big test right now from number 934, David Villeman. Villeman, Team Yamaha, coming off that great victory last week. He wants to take over and grab this heat away from Raynard.
No doubt about that. He's riding like a man possessed. Didn't care how big of a lead Raynard had on. It just doesn't matter. This guy, they call the Cobra, is programmed to win. He won't back off until he's in the lead.
Cutting inside, David Villeman couldn't quite get the traction, but now he's got it. David Villeman moves into the lead.
That's what I really love about this racetrack. You can get creative and go around and try a different line and not lose time. Right there was a great example.
Well, both Sebastian Tortelli and Mike LaRocco having a tough time getting up through the field. There's LaRocco, number 5. LaRocco now is outside the qualifying area. Sebastian Tortelli's moved into fourth, but LaRocco's got Isaiah Johnson in front of him before even getting to fourth.
Even if he's able to make a pass on Isaiah Johnson, he's still got an entire straightaway.
Robbie Reynard hanging right with him now is 9:34 going by the lap rider, Villeman.
Anxious to see how close Reynard can stay to Villeman in the remaining laps of this race. Remember last week in the heat race, he had the lead, looked sharp. Villeman took it from him, and he just went backwards. If it wasn't for LaRocco and Tortelli getting together at the end, he'd have been fourth.
Last lap underway for David Villeman, who's already won 7 heat races this year. He's had a phenomenal rookie year, really.
He has. You can see that as fast as he is and dominant as he has been in these heat races lately, that Reynard is still pretty close. That's very encouraging for Team Suzuki and for Robbie. I know the guy's got incredible talent. His mechanic knows that. It's just frustrating watching the guys suffering from arm pump week after week. Right here, still looks pretty good, Art.
David Villeman, number 934, with 3 wins on the year, 9 podiums, 4 whole shots, and he's led 47 laps during main events this year. That is a wonderful first full 250 Supercross season so far.
Look at the way Reynard actually closing the gap just a little bit. Right when Villeman got by, he opened it up, but maybe since it's the last lap and he knows he has it, he's not pushing 100%.
David Villeman takes the checkered flag, secures the heat victory. Robbie Reynard right behind him. Still a credible performance by Robbie Reynard, holding on to second place. Sebastian Tortelli has moved up into third on John Dowd. Mike LaRocco, it appears, will have to go to the semifinal round. We'll check out the official results right now as we take a look at the Suzuki EA Sports Supercross results page. Villeman, Reynard, Tortelli, and Dowd qualifying. Let's go down to Davey.
David, great way to start the night here at the Silverdome. Pretty convincing win, but you had to run down Reynard to do it.
Yeah, Reynard did a good start, and I was behind Sebastian and he crashed first lap, so I lose a little bit time. So Reynard was gone a little bit, so I had to push really hard to come back, and he did countless mistakes, so I can take advantage of that. And I was not riding my best race here, but hopefully it will be better for the main event.
Coming up next, once again, a Jeremy McGrath-Ricky Carmichael matchup. Ricky beat him last week in the qualifying heat. We'll be right back.
Moves with the speed of technology. You need an agent who will move with it. The Dulles Area Association of Realtors recently named Kathy Jones of Long & Foster Salesperson of the Year. Kathy is one of Northern Virginia's fastest growing sales leaders because she puts technology to work for you, selling homes faster and for the right price. Call Kathy today at 724-9494. Count on Kathy to let technology move you.
We depend on our vehicles for just about everything, and the life and safety of your vehicle depends on quality preventative maintenance. At Texaco Express Loop, we're dedicated to providing car care at its best. Our experienced technicians will give your vehicle an 18-point star service oil change using Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. We're conveniently located, open 7 days a week, and you don't need an appointment. And every time you visit Texaco Express Loop, we become partners in helping the Loudon community. Texaco, a world of energy.
Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan now as our second heat almost ready to get underway for the qualifying round of the 250s. Jeremy McGrath, the points leader, 6-time champion, and Ricky Carmichael, the Daytona winner. There's Carmichael's bike, number 4. Also in this heat, Kevin Windham, Larry Ward, Damon Huffman, the top privateer, Heath Voss, Lewis, Craig, Schnell. We're set to go, and we're off on the second qualifier. It was Windham getting the whole shot. And Ricky Carmichael moves into second place with Jeremy McGrath in third. Carmichael with the good cut. Oh, nice action bar to bar as they go over the triple.
Not that often when the top three guys are out 1, 2, 3 in the heat race, but that's what we got. This is going to be fireworks because McGrath is in the third spot, and I know he's not going to stay there. He's not going to be happy with second or third after last week's heat.
Wyndham, number 14, trying to get back on track, trying to get back up on that podium.
Look at that, all the way up over the top. I didn't see anybody do that very consistently in practice. These guys come right out in the first lap and do it. McGrath did it, jump right over Carmichael's head. He's got to be thinking, what? And then McGrath tripled that jump before the finish, too. These guys are flying.
Kevin Wyndham, Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Carmichael are ordered, with Heath Voss, the top privateer, still holding on to the final qualifying spot.
This is unbelievable. Carmichael came out of that first corner, had his green front fender poked out in the lead for a moment. Now he's in third, almost the whole straightaway behind Wyndham. These guys definitely trying to mess with each other's head a little bit. I've never seen guys jump so many things that they didn't really do that much in practice. Wyndham and McGrath both are giving Carmichael a lesson in how to jump triples that weren't really meant to be triples.
And Carmichael was so fast in practice. Did he show it all there?
Well, he and Villeman were the fastest in both practice sessions. Apparently Jeremy and Kevin had a few things under the hood they didn't want to show until the race time.
There's Jeremy McGrath going through that sand section, which I adore, and he had a little problem with it there as we switch back to Kevin Wyndham in the whoops.
Well, Jeremy just line drives into that whoop section with so much speed to make up for the mistake he made. Jeremy is capable of riding at about a 98% pace, which seems to be good enough to win. And if he makes a little bit of mistake, he can go that extra 2% and make it back up.
Number 14, Kevin Wyndham, had third place in last week's main event. But along came Jeremy McGrath, and McGrath is trying to shove him back once again. Jeremy's got a little space to make up on him.
Yes, he does. He hasn't been able to close that gap. But both Kevin and Jeremy have pulled away from Carmichael now. Carmichael's left foot still a little bit sore after that crash last week that kept him out of the main. He says it doesn't bother him as much when he's out riding, but just to walk around is pretty tender in black and blue. That's got to be affecting him a little bit.
Kevin Wyndham hasn't won a qualifying heat since Indianapolis. That was on the 12th of February. As we take a look at Ricky Carmichael zipping through the whoops.
Well, Kevin Wyndham is really putting Jeremy to the test. He's gone out and decided to ride hard, race the track, go as fast as Kevin Wyndham can go, not look back, race the track in front of him like that Honda commercial says. And McGrath is slowly closing, but not as fast as we've seen in the past. If you can get closer, then I would expect Kevin Wyndham rather to start to feel that pressure and maybe start to ride a little bit more tense.
Well, McGrath might have shoved him back to fourth last week, but that fourth place finish was his best main event finish since the 22nd of January when he hit the podium in San Diego in a third place finish. So this is encouraging for Kevin Wyndham if he can hold on. Will Kevin Wyndham be able to hold on and defeat Jeremy McGrath in this qualifying heat? We'll find out when we return.
For everyone with the hunger. For everyone with the addiction. For everyone who rides. Dunlop Superiority.
We got movement! Go, go, go! Hang on, Mike.
The next generation Subaru Outback comes standard with full-time all-wheel drive.
There it is! Over there!
It delivers incredible traction and control.
Whoa, I see it!
So you can always be ready to face the unknown.
Did you see the size of that thing?
Yeah. They're kind of cute when they're babies.
Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon from Subaru.
So you're locked out of your car. Is that the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
The Stanley Cup playoffs begin Wednesday at 7 on ESPN and ESPN2.
It was exciting but scary at the same time. It was just like for the whole world to see what emotion I was going to have if I went early, if I went extremely late, because you can't hide emotions from the camera.
Saturday at noon on ESPN.
We're back with more EA Sports Supercross from Pontiac, Michigan. Number 14, Kevin Windham of Team Hunt, has been phenomenal. He is held out in front of Jeremy McGrath here in this qualifying heat.
This is unbelievable. The pace these guys are running, they're running 54-second lap times consistent. That last lap was a little bit slower because they encountered some lapped riders, but that's 2 seconds faster than what we saw from Villeman in the first heat. You heard Villeman say he had to push hard to catch Raynard. So these guys have just stepped up the pace and completely shocked Ricky Carmichael, who's over 10 seconds back in third now.
Kevin Windham suffering from a rather mediocre year for him, a past winner who has never slipped out of below eighth place, but has only 2 third-place finishes this year, and that came in the first 3 races. So his 4th place last week in this strong qualifying heat. We're in the final lap. If he can hold on, it'll be a great confidence boost for number 14.
He's got a lot of lapped riders, though, to contend with. He's by one of them in the whoops. There's another one you can see.
Jeremy McGrath has to deal with number 224 as well. Kevin Windham through the tunnel.
He's just got to stay mistake-free right now. He's got enough of a lead. He can start to salute the fans a little bit.
I wouldn't salute him too much. Jeremy McGrath now is pulled down within 5 bike lengths. Look out. Kevin Windham's going to have, he's got his work cut out for him really here.
Now he went to the inside there and he wasn't able to, Jeremy couldn't jump it either. I'd say that was about the last opportunity.
One more turn. He can feel the checkered flag getting ready. The checkers for Kevin Windham. So Windham now wins his first heat race since Indianapolis. Last month, Kevin Windham, number 14, doing the job and holding off Jeremy McGrath. That's the 2nd week in a row Jeremy has not won a qualifying heat. And looking at the Honda final results page, we see Kevin Windham, Jeremy McGrath, Carmichael, and Larry Ward slipping in and qualifying directly to the main event. A good ride for Larry. Let's go to Davey.
All right, Kevin, that's more like it. That's what we've been expecting out of you since January.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for me, and I've been expecting it myself. And I tell you what, it's been rough. I've been doing everything short of beating my head against the wall, trying to figure out what's going on. But you know, I feel good here in Pontiac. Hopefully, I figured out my problem, and can ride good in the main like I did in the heat.
Did you know that was McGrath right behind you the whole time?
Yeah, I saw Carmichael. We had pulled a little bit of a lead on him, and you know when you're getting heat put on you by McGrath. You know, guy. Just everybody has to go off to that guy. He rides really well, and I knew it was him behind me. I just put my head down and figured 8 laps. You know, if I could do it anywhere, it would be here because I feel really good tonight, and I think that's the drive I need to get my seasons going in the right direction. You know, I know it's late in the season, but you know, a win at any point would be good.
You said you did it for 8 laps. Can you do it for 20?
Well, I sure do when I'm at my house. You know, I put in a lot of work at the house, but you know, unfortunately, whenever you want something so bad, and you get out here in front of the crowd and you know, all the competition, sometimes nerves gets to you. And I think if I can just hold my nerves down and go out there and ride like I know I can and I do all the time, then I shouldn't have a problem here tonight.
Excellent ride, Kevin.
Thanks a lot.
Riders feel a sense of urgency when it comes to the semifinals. And as we see Kevin Windham do his thing, those semis are coming up next from Pontiac, Michigan.
Rated E for everyone. Super Cross 101. Oops. Whoops. Superman. Medic. This power band poppin' on the pipe handlebar to handlebar lesson has been brought to you by Supercross 2000 and the letters EA Sports. It's in the game.
When you want a Wendy's Classic Double with cheese, you want one.
I'd have made the same choice.
It takes you to hamburger bliss.
Headache.
No matter what language you speak, Tylenol is America's most trusted combination of strength and safety. Tylenol.
Prego? Grazie.
Take comfort in our strength.
Baseball's ultimate road trip stops in Tampa for a showdown with a lot of pop. Jose leads the Devil Race against Manny and the Tribe. The ultimate road trip rolls on with Sunday Night Baseball. Indians Devil Race, tonight at 8 on ESPN.
This week's Honda Close-Up is team manager Cliff White. Cliff has one of the more difficult jobs on the circuit.
To try to keep all these kids in line. Manager of the motocross team, which entails just about everything that's involved in the team.
Cliff was a mechanic to the champions, and now with riders Tortelli and Wyndham in the stable, looks like a bright future.
I think the direction of the team is good. We've put together a good group of people, and you know, things will happen soon enough.
Back to the live action here in Pontiac, Michigan. Cliff White, quite a guy as the board goes sideways for our first semifinal round. Mike LaRocco had to go to the semifinals. Let's see how he fares. Grayson Goodman, 65, and LaRocco is buried back in the field.
Well, he's mid-pack. There you can see just poking in there on the inside. Makes the pass on Pavolny. Or Isaiah Johnson, rather.
Isaiah Johnson. He's on the Honda, but Grayson Goodman, number 65. There you see Mike LaRocco. 65 is our leader. Isaiah Johnson from Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the Planet Honda. Jason McCormick in the Planet Honda is also in this race, but it's James Pavolny, 62, that is in second place.
Rocco having to tuck it around the inside and use lines that he wouldn't normally use in order to work his way through traffic. It's so frustrating when you're capable of going 2 or 3 seconds faster than the guys you're having to ride with. But that's just the problem. You got to get out and get the great start so you can ride your own race.
Mike LaRocco finally getting back on the podium after 4 races of losing ground in the points race. He's been the model of consistency, though, in his 3rd decade of 250 racing. Nevertheless, than 7th place, and that was here in Pontiac earlier in the year.
That was a tough ride. But again, that was because he got a bad start going to the first corner. There was a pile up, and he was right in the middle of it. He has gotten much better starts this year.
Yes, he has.
But still, it's not consistent enough for him to stay out of trouble. Because when you got guys like Carmichael and Villeman and McGrath always getting out there in the top 5, and if they're not, they get really quickly into the top 5 or top 3. LaRocco's still back there having to catch him.
LaRocco with 4 second-place finishes and a 3rd this year. Do you have a theory about his starts?
Always have. And that is that coming up through the amateur ranks, he probably was a lot more comfortable with the fact that he was able to move through the pack and always make progress. You know, nobody wants to get the whole shot, especially in front of 50,000 people, and throw out an anchor and start losing positions. It doesn't feel good, and you have a lot of explaining to do to your team, to your father, to yourself. And this way, he's always able to work his way up.
The race is on for the lead. 3 Hondas out in front. LaRocco getting by Grayson Goodman, number 65. Remember, the top 5 qualify to go to the main event out of these semifinal rounds. So it's Pavolny, Mike LaRocco in 2nd, and Grayson Goodman in 3rd. We'll be right back with more semifinal action from Pontiac, Michigan after this.
How far do you have to go to be the best on Earth? A long, long way. Introducing an all-new ATV with Honda's legendary reliability. Available with push-button shifting and 4-wheel drive. The new Honda Rancher for the ranch we call Earth.
Wagner brakes make any car feel high performance.
Yep, they're Wagner brakes.
So choose Wagner, from the world's leader in brake pads.
Joe is looking for a job. He's actually looking right now. Joe called 1-877-SNELLING. Snelling finds people jobs for free. He starts in the morning.
Here at Cooper Tires Test Track, they're developing some pretty impressive tires.
Okay. Record time, Mr. Palmer.
Cooper Tires, drive on.
The road is calling. So's the boulevard, the street. And your Honda dealer's got what you need to answer them. Honda Shadows with incredibly low monthly payments and no down payment. Like the Shadow Spirit, just $129 a month. It's the road to savings, and it's going on right now at your Honda dealer. Answer the call.
Welcome back to Pontiac, Michigan. Number 5, Mike LaRocco has taken the lead, and it's on the white flag lap.
But he had to struggle. He had to work his way into the lead, and all because of a bad start. Watch him right here on the inside. As the gate drops, I think he may have slipped that clutch a little bit too long, was late on his reaction. You can see he's already closed off, having to go into the first corner last. Grayson Goodman getting another one of his hole shots. And here was the pass for the lead at the end of the whoop section on the outside past Pavolny. Just muscled his way by. No problem. He should be able to pass Pavolny. He's got a couple more decimal points in his salary.
Pavolny, though, is held on to second place, number 62, as Mike LaRocco is just pulled away from him. Grayson Goodman still in third, and another Honda, Isaiah Johnson, the 125 rider, who's in the off time. Not his division running here in the 125 East. He's a 125 West rider.
LaRocco running about 57.5-second lap times through that semi. Just checking out the track one more time, not trying to use too much energy and save himself for that main event. But gate position, once again, will be a little bit of a problem for him.
Well, I don't imagine that Mike LaRocco would be real happy to talk to us right now, having to go to the semifinal round, because he doesn't like those situations. But the top 5 graduating to the main event for the 250s, down to Davey.
Mike, I know you don't like to go through the semi, but did you learn anything on the track? Did you pick up any of those things that McGrath and Wyndham were doing?
I actually knew, before I went out there, I really didn't take a chance out in the semi, but, I know what I got to do, and the first thing is get a good start, and the rest will come into place.
You definitely need to get a better start. We watched you get shut down on the inside that time.
Yeah, I was slow off the gate, and I can't do that in the main event.
As we get set for our semi-final number 2, Damon Huffman is the big name here, number 20 on the yellow Suzuki. Right next to him is Kyle Lewis as they get set for our second semifinal. The top privateer also hasn't qualified yet. Heath Voss, Greg Schnell, a 125 rider who's done very well on 250s. And Shane King, a former 500 GP champion, is in this one on a KTM 4-stroke. A treat right now, Brian Mason, the onboard camera. It's actually on his helmet, and let's take a lap with David Bailey. Once that cart goes sideways, David, we're going to ride with you on that bike, number 464.
There you see Mason. The sign is sideways. He's staring at the gate. That's Mike Craig just to his left. That's how tight it gets.
At least he made it through the first turn. Everyone did cleanly.
Yeah, it's hard to stay upright. You know that just get through there with a start like he got, you're going to bang elbows with people. Just staying upright is a tough thing. You don't even worry about how fast you're going on the racetrack. Just try to keep it on 2 wheels. These guys aren't going for the triple. In fact, he just singles them all.
Well, they'll give you a good idea, though, of the height and the depth of the whoop sections.
Through the tunnel. Every time I went through that tunnel, I always felt like I was going to hit my head. It looked like it right there, too. You got plenty of headroom. Over the next triple, down to the far side of the track. Villeman was tripling out of here over the third one to the outside there. And the fast line through here was jumping up to this spot right here and then all the way to the corner. And then from here, you're not going to believe this. McGrath and Wyndham tripling all the way over this. They just dodge all those ruts. Not very many guys using the inside right there because they're trying to get a run at this double right here before the finish over the tunnel.
After this finish line jump, David, we go to the sand.
Look at this. If you're behind anybody, you just get roosted. That sand shifts around and moves every time, and towards the end, you're getting back on the brakes. And as soon as you start to slow down, that front end just wants to dive on you.
Our leader in this qualifier is number 63, Greg Schnell, the 125 rider with Michael Craig, a one-time winner in Supercross, in second place. Will they hold on? We'll be back in a moment to find out.
One of the problems we faced when we first opened Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki was convincing people that Suzuki was more than a motorcycle company. Well, the fact is Suzuki sold over 25 million vehicles worldwide. And in the entire continent of Europe, the #1 selling sport utility vehicle isn't a Volvo, it isn't a BMW, it isn't a Mercedes. It's the Suzuki Vitara line of sport utility vehicles. And you can see them at Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki at 325 East Market Street in Leesburg. Because before you buy your next car or truck, you gotta...
Underway right now for the second semifinal round. Craig is out in front, but look at number 20, Damon Huffman. Huffman on the whoops. He makes up great time on Voss and Craig. Voss, number 33. Michael Craig, number 43. Now moves back to second place. And Damon Huffman is pressuring all the way. Huffman is back after being out for 2 weeks with a back injury. It was sustained in the practice the day before St. Louis race.
I saw that crash, and it was just, he was trying to line up and do something McGrath was doing, and took his concentration off the obstacle he was on, lost control of the bike, flew off over the berm and landed out on the floor. And he said, man, a real freak type crash. He landed right on his back. Didn't move for a while. I'm glad to see him back out there.
Michael Craig now getting the wheel pressure. A little look-see there from Damon Huffman. Craig, he beat Jeremy McGrath in 1994 at Tampa.
They're on that white flag lap, and Huffman is approaching that whoop section right now. That's where he's been strong. That last lap through there, he had a run on Craig, but Craig moved his line over a little bit.
There he goes, zipping by Craig. Craig trying to hold on, and Huffman moves into second place now. This is semifinal number 2, the top 5 graduating to the main event.
Still time for Huffman to get up to Voss. Good luck getting by him.
Heath Voss won the semifinal round last week in Minneapolis. Also won the semifinal round in Daytona. And boy, has he been a workhorse as far as the privateer is concerned. 3 individual races. He's had the top privateer honors. And he's collected over $10,500 in SFX privateer bonus funds. There's the checkers for number 33, Heath Voss. So a good confidence factor, 12th in the standings. Heath looking to move up the ladder a bit as a true privateer.
He's doing this with a slight concussion, so there's no question that this guy's tough.
Our Suzuki results page, Voss, Huffman, Craig, Schnell, and Lewis graduating to the main event out of the semifinal round. The Supercross season is winding down, but you fans in New Orleans, Chicago, and Las Vegas have a chance to watch the chase to the championship in person. November 15th, it's New Orleans, the 29th in Chicago, and finally May 6th from Las Vegas. And of course, that is destination Las Vegas. But David Villeman winning the first 2 rounds of the Vans Triple Crown. He has set the scene, David Bailey, for a $500,000 shootout in Las Vegas.
Well, there's a slim possibility that McGrath may wrap it before we get there. However, I think David Villeman has other ideas, and even if McGrath were able to do it, there's still the $500 grand on the line for Villeman, plus that 125 shootout. I cannot wait for that. Shea Bentley is on fire in the East, or in the West, rather. He's supposed to be in the East, changed to the West with some of the injuries, and you bring these East Coast division back together. Those guys are going to have a slugfest.
51,756 fans are looking forward to the 125 main event as we take a look at the Dunlop points situation. There you see 8-point lead. Pastrana, though, has been on fire, winning the last 2, and Roncada, a 2-time winner, is still not out of it. Local boy Nick Way trying to throw the monkey wrench right into this situation. Let's get down to the track.
I got up with a couple of the top 125 riders down here on the floor. Brock Sellards, the series point leader. Michigan's own Nick Way. Nick, you never won one of these 125 main events yet. What would it mean to win here in front of your home crowd?
Well, Davey, that'd be great. You know, I've been working really hard, and I'm just going to try to get a really good start and, you know, hopefully do the best that I can, and, you know, hopefully that will be a win.
All right. And over here we have Brock Sellards. Brock, you're the series point leader. 2nd place 5 times in a row. You got the lead, but I know you want one of those wins.
Yeah, you know, my first win came here last season, and hopefully it'll come tonight. I've been pushing really hard, and 2nd just ain't cutting it anymore.
All right, we'll let you guys get ready for the race. 2 of the top guys to watch for.
51,756 fans are now awaiting as we're looking forward to the 125 qualifying. That is all coming up next from Pontiac, Michigan, and the Silver.
Heading into round 5 of the 125 Eastern Regional Supercross Series at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, Ernesto Fonseca, rider number 100, was a championship points leader with 4 wins in a row. Out front, followed by number 23, Nick Way, and Brock Sellards, number 27, it appeared that Fonseca had number 5 in the bag. But Nick Way had Ernesto in sight. Ernesto had nowhere to go except the bales and down. As Way opened up a gap on the rest of the field, Fonseca, who managed to keep the bike running, got back up in the hunt, several positions down. Later in the race, number 27, Brock Sellards, was all over Way. Sellards made the pass but couldn't make it stick. Out of the corner and watched Sellards pick his line. The move gave the Honda rider position in the next corner where he picked Way's pocket. This time, he made it stick. Race winding down. Remember Ernesto Fonseca? He remembered Nick Way. Exacting revenge, Fonseca steals second, setting the top 3 with Brock Sellards rolling home the winner.
Those same key figures in our Honda flashback are back once again this year, but with more personalities.
Well, you got Travis Pastrana added to the mix, plus I think you're going to get a physical battle. These guys are all so close in talent, it might come to rubbing elbows, make a difference.
Our first qualifying heat for the 125, you see number 199, Travis Pastrana. Right next to him is Stefan Roncada. And then number 27, Michael Brandes, the winner of the first year. Travis Pastrana gets through that tight left turn first and takes a dominating lead right out of the whoops.
Always a big advantage. You get into that whoop section first, be able to take whatever line you want. Travis, look, you can't even see anybody behind him. Over the triple, no problem. And for the bigger contenders, Ron Cotta, Tyler Evans, who was hot in practice, they're buried in the pack. This is a big advantage right now for Travis.
Matt Shue on the Suzuki is behind Travis Pastrana. Shue having some injury problems this year. Brock Sellards in third. There's number 27, Michael Brandes in third. Correction.
Brandes got the inside into this corner. He switches back to the outside. He's trying to set himself up better for this double up. One of the higher jumps on the racetrack. These guys still haven't really got it figured out. There's a lot of different rhythms you can run through there.
There goes Brandes. Brandes making a move on Matt Shue. Brandes with a lot more experience this year on the racetrack than Shue out of Georgia.
These guys have already dropped about 2 seconds behind the leader, Pastrana, who's already down to the end of the straightaway. Strong in that whoop section as well.
Those whoops are tremendously deep.
Hell, they just soak up a 125. You get stuck in there. Travis uses his body so well to make that track a little bit smoother. He makes up time every time through there. I'm sorry about that.
Brandes doing a good job of pulling away here in second place. He opened the season with the victory at Indianapolis, and he is the only rider, number 27 I'm talking about, to get a whole shot in the 125s and also win the race. It's been remarkable the number of hole shooters we've had in the 125 action.
This has been an awesome class to watch, and I'm actually a little disappointed right now that Travis got the whole shot. It's so exciting when he's mid-pack and has to work his way into the lead.
The battle for third is on. Paul Curry, along with number 45, Tyler Evans.
Getting around him, working his way up to the front. Evans in his second practice session earlier this afternoon was the fastest of the group. Lap time only about a half a second slower than the 250.
Curry trying in the whoops to catch up with Tyler Evans. Can't do it. Curry goes to the outside. Having trouble with the control in those whoops.
It's going to get worse all night because they're going to get rutted. Not just one rut down the middle like you see some places in Phoenix where the soil is a little sandier. You can see the ruts are all over the place here. So picking a line is going to be pretty crucial.
Evans, the Suzuki, number 45. Evans has had an interesting year on that Demarini Suzuki. He's opened the season with a third in Indianapolis in the 125 action after back-to-back top privateer honors in warming up for the 125s in the 250s. That was at San Diego and Phoenix. He proved he could handle the big bike, David. So as Travis Pastrana simply dominates our first 125 qualifying heat, the battle is behind him. We'll be back in a moment.
With a Suzuki RM under you?
That's going to make this battle between Evans and Brandes a little bit more heated here, about another lap and a half.
Roncada with an atrocious start. got pinched off in that first turn. Number 27, Michael Brandis.
Tyler Evans got squirrely out of that section a lap before. He's got a good run now.
Here comes Evans. Evans to the inside. And Brandis just couldn't keep up the momentum through those whoops that Tyler Evans had. But look out, Brandis wants it back again. The final lap, white flag lap is underway now for Travis Pastrana. Evans getting a little squirrely before they go through that bridge. Curry wants it back again. There's Travis Pastrana.
This is his white flag lap. I guarantee you, you can see something good. Well, maybe not. Oh,
landing with no hands on the bars. Travis Pastrana takes the first qualifying heat in the 125s. You cannot take your eyes off of Travis Pastrana no matter what. I'll tell you that right now. He has 2 wins in a row. He's looking for his 3rd, and that is his 4th qualifying heat victory of the season.
He loves to get out front like that and have some time to ignite the fans, and that did it. I was surprised he was holding so still through the air, but obviously he had that in mind.
Remember, the top 9 qualified to the main event out of the 125 qualifying. Pastrana, Brandis, and Roncada 1, 2, and 3 with Evans slipping down to 4th. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Travis, a pretty easy heat race, but wow, what a jump over the finish line.
Oh, thanks. Just a little no-hander lander. Had to do something. Couldn't do either one of the triples that lap, but man, my RM 125 Suzuki got me out to such a great start. Man, my bike's running awesome. I feel great. Hopefully get on first place this weekend.
Good job in the heat race. Watch for you in the main.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
Thanks, Davey. Travis Pastrana is on a mission to win a title in his first professional year, and one of the guys who's out in front right now, Brock Sellards, is in this second qualifying heat for the 125s, along with hometown boy Nicholas Way and the defending champion Ernesto Fonseca, who took quite a big hit in practice on a triple jump. Brandon Jessamine, Kelly Smith, Jason Thomas, the Ironman. He's qualified for both the 125 and 250s 3 times this year. And onboard camera with us right next to the doghouse, it's number 464, Brian Mason. Our thanks to him out of Columbia, Illinois on the Kawasaki. There's the head helmet cam. We hope he's in the mix. That'll be interesting. Heat 2 underway pretty soon. Paul Carpenter. And a clean first turn for these 125ers. But it was Carpenter who got the hole shot, and now is in a battle. The battle was lost by Carpenter.
Brock Sellards, just like Pastrana on the heat before, knows what he needs to do. Get out there, get some confidence, study this racetrack, separate himself from the pack, and send Pastrana a message saying, yeah, you can win your heat, watch this.
Brock Sellards, a very determined bulldog with lots of talent. And as you heard, he won his very first Supercross victory here in Pontiac last year. And behind him, a young man trying to make his mark is still Paul Carpenter on the Husqvarna.
Fonseca has gone down on the triple, the same triple he crashed on in practice. He's up and away, but that's who he was collected with right there.
And Joseph Olaf went down with him. Both of them. There's Olaf getting back on the track, number 84 on the KTM.
Well, as much time as they lost, they sat there a long time, and it'll be a while before Pastrana can catch last place. So it's looking like he's going to have to go to the last chance qualifier. So a rider that won 6 races last year and dominated, having his problems here tonight.
Brock Sellards, the points leader out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, in the FMF Honda. And he's taken away with it, just like Travis Pastrana did in the first qualifying heat.
Well, that first heat, Pastrana's lap times dropped down to 57 seconds. That's what the 250s were running earlier this afternoon. 2 seconds faster than his next closest challenger.
Here's the battle right now for second place as Paul Carpenter's trying to pull away from number 41, Kelly Smith, on the KTM. Kelly Smith has not won a race in 125 action, but he led the St. Louis race last year for 14 3/4 laps when Fonseca came calling and put him out of the race.
That was an exciting battle. It reminded me of St. Louis in the last round where Pastrana was able to erase a huge lead that Sellards enjoyed. It was was able to make that pass towards the later stages of the race. Not quite as dramatic.
Look at the battle underway. Carpenter and Kelly Smith, bar to bars. They go over the triple. On the inside, Carpenter comes through that tunnel with the edge.
You see Kelly Smith going a little bit wide to get a run at the triple. They've built a few little moguls in there on the approach. So when you take the inside, you better get the power to the ground or you're coming up short.
Sellards, Carpenter, Smith, and Skaggs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 here in our second qualifying heat of 125 action. More EA Sports Supercross. From Pontiac, Michigan, Rhinops presents EA Sports Supercross from Pontiac, Michigan, our second trip to Pontiac this year. And this is the second qualifying heat for the 125s. Brock Sellards dominating the points leader, who is yet to win a 125 race. The battle for second place is on between Carpenter and Kelly Smith. Kelly Smith of the KTM has been hounding Carpenter throughout this entire qualifying heat, and there's less than 2 laps remaining.
Watch the different lines right here. Well, Smith's starting to go inside right there. Doesn't want to give up any distance. Realize he can still jump that triple from the inside. When he goes wide, he'd lose about 10 feet. He's got to stay close. Keep that pressure on.
Whoa, got a nice leap out of the mound there. Kelly Smith, number 41, tries to catch up with a very smooth Paul Carpenter. This is an impressive performance by Carpenter.
It is, because he's definitely got the pressure right now, but you can see the example of how well they did the design of this racetrack. These guys able to get side by side, jump things at different timing. Looked like Kelly Smith actually had the pass there a moment ago, but couldn't hold it.
Carpenter with the 12th place in the last race in St. Louis is certainly showing up fine right now on this white flag lap, the final lap for the 125 qualifying heat.
What I was curious about was to see what Sellards, who's got a huge lead, was capable of running in terms of a lap time compared to that first heat of Travis Pastrana. He has dropped his lap time down to 57 seconds, even with Pastrana, so we got ourselves a great main event coming up.
And look at that, number 23, Nick Way, is doing battle with Robbie Skaggs. Skaggs had that position, but Nick Way has now moved, and he's hounding number 41, Kelly Smith.
Wouldn't surprise me. Just enough time for him to get maybe one more before the checkered flag.
He won his first qualifying heat last week, I should say. Nick Way, and the checkered flag was flying, and the battle is on. Nick Way cutting in on Kelly Smith. Smith coming across. Look out for the left rider. Whoa! Was that a close one?
All three of them. Nick Way had that pass made a couple of corners before, but the timing didn't work out for him in the rhythm section, and Kelly Smith edged him out.
Checking out our wrenchhead.com results page, Brock Sellards dominates. Carpenter holds on to second. Kelly Smith in third, with the hometown boy Nick Way in fourth. But the big story really is 9 people qualify in 125 qualifying action, and Ernesto Fonseca just made it into the main event, coming back for 9th. Let's go down to Davey.
Well, Brock, way to come out firing here in your heat race. You went out there, got the whole shot. Good ride, but I got to ask you, where are you watching Pastrana in that other heat?
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's my closest competitor. If somehow he could pull out 3 wins and I pulled out 3 more seconds, he'd win the championship. So, of course, my eyes on him. I'm not really, you know, stressing or anything, because I'm the guy that's holding the points lead. I'm just going out there and trying to, you know, win a race.
Pontiac Silverdome's been good to you before. You won here last year.
Yeah, I won here last year. My FMF Honda is working great. My mechanic did a good job, and I'm ready.
Right on, Brock. We'll see you in the main.
Thanks.
So David Bailey, the 125 heats, simply setting the scene for what we kind of expected. Brock Sellards, the points leader, and the challenger, Travis Pastrana, but you can't rule out Ron Cotta as well.
Ron Cotta is definitely the fastest of the practice sessions, but that's never really that accurate, because some of these other guys like to save stuff for the races. I still wouldn't count out Nick Way. He also is riding strong, motivated in this building, and Fonseca, he had a bad problem there going down in the triple in the first lap, but I'd look for him to come back as well.
Many of the fans on their feet. By the way, the exciting 125 East and West meet in the 125 shootout. That and they've been waiting for here in Pontiac, Michigan at the Silverdome. The main event time, and the 125s are near the gate right now. The Suzuki starting lineup has Travis Pastrana, Brock Sellards getting the first 2 choices of gate, Michael Brandes, Paul Carpenter with a good qualifying appearance, Stefan Roncada, and down the line, Nick Way having a tougher choice as far as the gate on this short start, David Bailey.
Not too bad. Not quite as bad as Fonseca, who's clear out to the outside, but pretty impressed with what we see out of the heat races so far. Travis Pastrana just got out to the hole shot, pulled away, put on a clinic out there in Heat 1. Sellards went out there, did the same thing in Heat 2. They both matched each other's lap times. Roncada got a bad start, worked his way through the field. He's on pace too. Just couldn't see it in the heat race. We're ready for a great race.
Only 3 races counting this one remaining in the 125 East. This could turn out to be the key race in determining the East Championship. The 30-second board is up.
There you see Fonseca. He's only got 4 riders to his right. Earlier this afternoon, Robbie Raynard had to ride a preliminary qualifier because of the races he's missed this year, and he started about the same place Fonseca is and got a great start. Even without a good reaction, he proved that you can do it from out there, but Fonseca's got to be perfect.
It's sideways. Travis Pastrana, Sellards, Brandis, Carpenter, Roncada. The whole group is off. The main event is underway. Evans and Pastrana, the 2 Suzukis out in front. Pastrana gets boxed out in the corner.
Well, he knew that going all the way through the whoops. Evans got up to the inside of him. And look at Brandis gets up there. Takes advantage of the move that Evans put on Pastrana.
Roncada is 6 bikes back. Sellards 7 bikes back. As we take a look at our leaders.
And Fonseca is in last. No way in the world I can see him getting up into contention here from a start like that.
Michael Brandis is impressive. Number 27 already starting to put heat on our leader.
Well, that's how you can get into riders' heads and just take them right out of their rhythm in the first lap of the race. Get by before they get a chance to get into their rhythm and force them to ride the pace you're riding.
Number 199 officially gets the Yahoo.com Hole Shot Award for the 125 main event. That's Travis Pastrana.
How about Evans, though? Just smoked by Pastrana through this whoop section right here. Look at all the ruts starting to develop. Roncada in contention right there. As long as he can see those leaders, he's dangerous. He won at this race, this stadium, the last time we visited.
Tyler Evans putting Demarini Suzuki on the map right now.
He was the fastest in the second heat of qualifying. Proven right now that that was no fluke.
Leader number 35. 45, Tyler Evans. He took second in last year's 125 shootout in Las Vegas.
This kid has definitely got a lot of talent. Look at him tripling right through there into the corner. Pretty good corner speed. These guys are really starting to struggle with ruts now. Your line has to be just right. You see a lot more mistakes on a rutted track than normal.
Last year, Evans got the Ironman honors, qualifying for both the 125 and the 250 race here in Pontiac. He had a disappointing 10th, though, in the first round. And coming up now is Travis Pastrana trying to make a move on Michael Brandis for second place.
And I thought, Sellards goes off the racetrack.
Brutal move now for Sellards to get back into the action.
That's going to be okay as long as he re-enters the course without picking up the position. He only lost, I think, 2 to Curry. And it looks like Skaggs right there in front of him. Take another look at what happened. He just gets a little bit offline. That was because he was leaned a little bit too much to his right when he hit a rut. He did a pretty good job of limiting the damage there. That could have been a lot worse.
Looked like he lost about 3 positions back to 6th after running in 3rd. A big break for Evans. Gets the Bulldog off his back for the time being anyway.
He's starting to pull away, but here comes Pastrana right behind him. You can hear the crowd.
There's Pastrana. At 27 is Michael Brandis on the FMF Honda.
Usually in the whoops, Art, is where Pastrana makes up all of his time. He wasn't able to make up any time through there on Sellards. Look at Roncada. He just tries to, he knows that he's got to stay with Pastrana to have any shot at winning this race.
Roncada just battling it out, scraping plastic with Michael Brandis. 199 has learned a lot in his first professional season, but I think one of the big factors is patience. He's not really overreacting now like we saw him in Pontiac the last time.
Well, you know, this was round 2 the last time we were here for this division.
And he was smooth in that one.
He was smooth, but part of the reason there was because he was sick and he still had a cast on the throttle hand. So he was forced to really take it easy. And he still got a force, and he wasn't that far off the pace. I think he learned right then, you know, all I have to do is step it up a little bit, and I'm in contention. So I need to relax a little bit, try to stay off the ground. I should be able to win this thing in my first try.
It's been a remarkable first year for him. His worst finish of the season was a 5th at Atlanta. Boy, he hits those whoops beautifully.
Starting to close the gap. He tripled right there. Oh, Evans can feel it now, and Travis has been able to catch Evans and lose Roncada in the process.
What a big turnaround this could be. We had a turnaround in the last 125 West Division where the hot rider, Shea Bentley, overtook the points lead. Let's go down to Davey Combs.
You know, you can see something in Travis Pastrana. He spent a lot of time watching riding with Robbie Renard as he goes by Evans right there. Travis is riding, standing up a lot more, and I think riding with the veteran 250 has really helped him.
Evans trying to get back at Travis Pastrana after Pastrana has taken the lead here in the 125 main. Be smart. That comes off the board of Lee McCullum.
Whoa,
oh, Travis gets hung up. And guess who's leading? Stefan Roncada. Roncada is very fast. Evans gets out of the mix-up first. And so Pastrana now, a slight mistake. And we've got number 26, Roncada, in the lead, looking for his 3rd win.
Roncada, oh, Pastrana and those guys went down again off trying to get back into the mix. It was, there they get going. Pastrana and Brandis got together and went off over the berm. I was about to say that Roncada's pace wasn't quite as fast as what Pastrana had been running. So even though he had that mistake, he was still close enough to get him back before the end of this race. Now he's lost more time, and I don't see any way he can catch him.
There you see our leader, Roncada. But that gives Sellards a big break because the battle is on here on the replay after this.
And watch what happens. There goes Roncada. And watch Evans. He runs over Travis's foot. And then he kind of cuts those last 3 hay bales right there. I don't think they're going to give him any trouble with that. And that's the second crash. Over this way is where Brandis went off the track. Up over the berm, Travis stayed on the track and in the process saved a lot more positions. He could be mid-pack right now if he'd have gone over the berm.
So Pastrana now is in a battle with Brock Sellards as we go back to our leader, Roncada, who's trying to take advantage of the mishaps.
Supercross is so fast-paced, changing all the time. It's just amazing. It looked to me like Travis was going to be able to inherit the points lead with the mistake by Sellards earlier. He was closing in. He had the lead. And one little mistake caused all these problems, and now Roncada is going to take advantage of all of it. He was only 10 points back. He could take over the lead.
So Roncada, who's looking for his 3rd win, his 6th career victory in 125 action. He takes over the lead, and we'll be right back. Stefan Roncada is still our leader, but now Nicholas Way, in front of his friends and family here in the state of Michigan, has moved into 2nd place.
That was a great time to make that pass and have a chance at a possible mistake by Roncada out front. We've seen how easy that can happen, especially in sand. But the better the part of the strategy there for making that move now is because Pastrana is catching both these guys at over a second a lap. So if he can get a clear of Evans and have Pastrana deal with him for a little while, maybe he won't have to fend off all that pressure before the end of this race.
Nick Way, number 23, had a 3rd place finish, the podium. He was first for 5 laps, put Fonseca down in the process last year, but came out of it on the podium. He's looking for another podium here tonight. There's Travis Pastrana.
Totally different timing out there in certain spots. Is allowing him to cut those faster laps. Look how quick he caught Tyler Evans just ahead of him there, and Way. He can still get 2nd in this race. Roncada's pretty far out in the lead, but 2nd is within his grasp.
It would benefit Brock Sellards to be closer to him, too, and lose only 2 points and still hold on to a slim points lead. Here's the move by Travis Pastrana. Not quite on Evans, but look at that cut. A quick break and an acceleration in the corner.
He just moved a little bit closer to Sellards in that points chase, and Way will be the next guy. That'll be 2 more points. He's doing the math right now. I don't think that Travis is ever going to stop pushing until he sees the checkered flag. He still thinks he can catch Roncada, probably.
No matter what he does, he makes a race exciting. There's Nicholas Way. Travis Pastrana's right behind him. That's Brian Stone, the lap rider, number 90. They both get by him cleanly. Way in second place. Pastrana showing him a wheel to the inside and pulling back. They come out of that sand. Boy, that sand adds a new dimension to a Supercross track. On the outside, Pastrana, the lapper on the inside. Number 27 is Brandis. Pastrana slices inside. Brandis and takes over second place. What a move.
Is this kid good or what? Just jumps the triple in traffic, lappers to make the pass, stands up into the corner, feet on the peg, two-wheel drift, looks over away like, yeah, I'll give you a little room if you need it. Look at that. That got busy.
That's gutsy, not just skill.
Hey, it takes a lot of nerve to go for it right there. This 125's having a heck of a time trying to get up to speed to clear that triple, but he does it and moves closer to Ron Cotta. He is not that far behind.
Travis Pastrana, number 199. Pure excitement on the track as he weeds through the lap riders. Ron Cotta, Pastrana, and Way the order.
Now he's got a clear track, and he's going to be able to take some of the lines that he's capable of to go so fast. Look at that. Triples that, leading into the big triple, which makes it a heck of a lot easier. He's got two riders now between himself and Sellards.
Sellards now in fourth. He's looking to catch Nick Way before he can get to Travis Pastrana and then Ron Cotta. A difficult position for Ron Cotta, trying to stay out in front and still get great lap times and not get the pressure, but feel the pressure as the crowd reacts to Pastrana. And here is Ron Cotta, number 26.
Now he's going fast enough, as long as he doesn't make a major mistake. The laps remain to be able to hold off Pastrana for the win. But he's got to do everything right. He can't afford a mistake.
Time is running out for Pastrana if he wants to win this race. Here's Ron Cotta on the track interval, trying to hold on. Can Stefan Ron Cotta take the victory here in Pontiac, Michigan? We'll be right back and find out.
Rated E for everyone.
Look at that, still riding smooth. He's jumping over that triple as well. One spot where Travis was able to make up time on everyone else, but not on Stefan.
Boy, do you think Eric Kehoe, the team manager in the next booth next to us, is just a little bit nervous? His eyes are almost popping out of his head now as Stefan Ron Cotta is trying to get around that right lapped rider.
He doesn't lose much time. He's still able to do the timing he needs through that section right there. And Sellards able to pick up a position into third. That's going to be a podium for him if he can hold on to it.
Well, he really needs to step it up another notch.
To get by Way, I mean.
Yes. The white flag is out for our leader, Stefan Ron Cotta. Just a lap away. Some 55 seconds away from a possible victory.
And that shows right there what can happen. A lap rider going down right in front of Stefan. Able to work his way around.
There might have been a day that he'd run into that lap rider. We've seen him do it in previous years, but lots of experience helped out in that move. Number 26.
He's feeling good now. He looked great in practice. If I had to put my money on somebody, I would have put it on him. You can never count Travis out, as aggressive as he is, but Stefan looks so good.
Brock Sellards knows how important that battle for third is. Number 18 on the red bike, the Honda, pursuing number 23, Nick Way. Way certainly doesn't want to give up that podium spot.
This could be the championship. He needs those 2 points desperately.
The next time around, Stefan Ron Cotta will be looking at the checkers. And there it is. Stefan Ron Cotta has won his third race of the 125 East season. He's back in the title chase. Brock Sellards trying to battle Nick Way. But Nick Way holds on for the podium spot. So Travis Pastrana will pick up 2 more points in that points battle for the championship. So Ron Cotta now with his third win of the season. It will be win number 6 in the 125 ranks for the anxious young Frenchman.
Just amazing. Travis works his way into the lead, falls down, goes down again. Ron Cotta just rode right through all the wreckage, played it smart. He had his problems earlier today, but with bad starts, but he shined in the main event when it counted.
These 125 battles have been terrific this year. Both coming right down to the wire. The first two-time winner in the 125s becomes the first three-time winner on our Suzuki EA Sports Supercross results page. Travis Pastrana letting this one get away, but Sellards in fourth. It keeps that points race really close. Hometown hero Nick Way on the podium. Tyler Evans rounding out that top five as we take a look at the entire field. Let's go back to Davey.
Stefan, way to go, man. This is your building this year. 2 in a row at Pontiac. You got your team boss, Phil Alderton, down here. You got to be stoked.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm very stoked, you know, and I just heard that Brock Sellard finished like 4th or 5th, so I grabbed a couple more points on him. So it's good for the championship, you know. I took some points away tonight, so it's great.
What do you think in the middle of the race? You were moving up. You saw Pastrana and Evans go down right in front of you. Right there was the lead.
Yeah, you know, there was a very good battle going on between Pastrana and Tyler Evans, and it's too bad those two crashed, you know, but I guess they were onto each other a lot, so it's the race, and it's great for me, like I said, and I had a good race. I was watching Pastrana, I was going pretty fast, but I was considering the race. I wanted to win really bad tonight here, take some points away, so that's what I did, and I'm very happy about it.
Hey, you know, you did just that. You threw it into a three-ray race as your teammate Ernesto Fonseca comes up. Stefan, between you, Brock Sellards, and Travis Pastrana, this one's going right down to the wire.
Yeah, you know, I think the championship this year is great. There's a lot of good riders that can win. The level is really fast, so we have great races, you know, and I think it's going to be really tight for the championship between Travis and Brock and I, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully I win it. And I'd like to thank all my sponsors, you know, Phil Alderton, Yamaha Troy, Enrico, Dunlop, Oakley, Fox, and Mark Peters, my track design, Alan Gerke, All Pro MX Fitness, my trainer, and everybody here that helps me out a lot for the championship. Thank you. Thanks, David.
Stefan Roncada's win gives him 125 points. That's only 3 behind Brock Sellards. Roncada moving into second place. Pastrana only 4 in back of the leader, Brock Sellards. Nick Way holding in fourth place.
What a great shot, be able to throw that bike sideways, the flames going off over the finish line jump, moving into second. What a night for Stefan. He loves this stadium. Kevin Windham and Tortelli next to each other. Tortelli, had he not gone down in his heat race, may have won that, so he has definitely got the pace. Look at the focus and the intensity in the eyes of McGrath. He's focused. Every time he gets beaten in a race, he comes back with fire. There's LaRocco. He's to the outside of McGrath.
Does it surprise you that McGrath picked so far away from the inside on this start?
Yeah, it does, but you know what? He's got a lot of confidence to be able to go out that far. Davey, what's it look like from your angle?
I'm surprised he picked that far outside, too. If he's not careful, doesn't get a good jump, he might end up in the visitors' bench down here on the Lions' home field.
The board is sideways. They're revving up. The 250 of Pontiac number 2 is about set to get underway. McGrath with a great start. And Kevin Windham, after I believe McGrath took the Yahoo.com hole shot, moves into first place.
Well, McGrath had a lot of confidence. As soon as he got out of that gate, he got a great jump, practiced a million starts yesterday, just leaned in on everybody to the inside, but still, he's chasing Kevin Windham. He did that in the heat race and couldn't make the move. Here they got a lot more laps to deal with.
Boy, it'll be interesting now to see as we take another look at the start. Jeremy McGrath, a terrific jump at the gate, but so number 14 as well on the inside.
Well, McGrath just leans right in, but he had to carry so much speed to stay out in front. He had to drift wide. Kevin got a little hop off that jump. Gassed it down to the backside, had a great run to the whoops, took the lead.
So another hole shot for Jeremy McGrath. They have been few and far between, actually, this season for Jeremy. But Jeremy now on the chase as Kevin Windham and Jeremy McGrath start to pull away from Ricky Carmichael and Larry Ward.
And look at this. Windham has opened up a little bit of a lead on McGrath right here. Windham has got this track dialed in, and it's just making Jeremy ride the race of this year to try to stay with him. Carmichael still in third, just like it was in the heat race, but way back. Only one lap in the book. He's already about 3 seconds back. He's got LaRocco right on his tail, then Villeman. So LaRocco's got a much better start than usual, but still, he can't even see the leaders.
Jeremy McGrath tried to chase down Kevin Windham. Windham with a 5th place finish in the first race here at Pontiac this season, as this is the first time in many years that we've had a doubleheader, 2 races in one season in the same venue here.
Look at those guys jumping all the way over that triple right there. McGrath didn't do it that time. If you don't get a great run out of the corner and get lined up in one of those ruts that we just saw on that other huge mountain, you can't do it. But still, that lap, even without tripling before the finish, Jeremy closed the gap slightly, and he gets a clap from Larry Brooks, the team manager.
McGrath moving to within a second on our leader, number 14.
I think back to the Houston round last year where the same thing. Windham out front, Jeremy chasing, and eventually wearing him down. But Kevin seems pretty strong-minded out here tonight.
The battle for 4th is on with Mike LaRocco and David Villeman. LaRocco on the Amsoil Honda, number 5 in front of David Villeman.
Look at how LaRocco jumps over the ruts right there. A little bit of different timing. Villeman, different timing from both the guys in front of him.
Here we go. Jeremy McGrath now putting the heat, heavy heat on Kevin Windham. Oh, he makes a nice move without touching plastic.
Well, that was a line that I don't think Kevin could have expected. That was very creative by Jeremy McGrath and very aggressive, sending the message to Kevin Windham that he is out there and means business, and he'll get in there and take whatever line necessary to make that pass. Watch Jeremy. It actually looks like a mistake right there, but he sets himself to the outside, lets Kevin pass, turns on a dime, cuts all the way across. Kevin's going, where did that come from?
Kevin Windham in 2nd place. He had 2 seconds in a row here in Pontiac in 1997 and 98. But I'm sure he would love to stay close with Jeremy McGrath.
Actually, Kevin might be enjoying being in 2nd, not having all that pressure right now, as long as he can stay with him. But look at this.
Yes, Mike LaRocco and Ricky Carmichael side by side. Carmichael going wide, and LaRocco takes the inside route. Here comes David Villeman, also attacking Ricky Carmichael. This is such a busy track.
There's so many different options out there as well. LaRocco right there trying to go for that triple. I never saw him do it in the heat race. Jumps it right there, comes up a little short. There's nothing worse than, makes you more nervous than having to jump something you never jumped before in the main event. Take that chance.
So Mike LaRocco in 3rd behind Kevin Windham and Jeremy McGrath, and here comes Villeman. Villeman really on the move, cuts in front of Ricky Carmichael, and it's Villeman moving up a spot.
Ricky just a little bit off the pace tonight. I think that crash last week really interrupted his flow that he had going. He was really on a roll. Podium finishes, the win at Daytona. That crash last week just took it all out of him.
Kevin Windham has not resigned himself to 2nd place at all, David.
No, he is still staying in contention. You know, when we had Pastrana up here joining us for last week's show and McGrath made a pass on him, he said, you know, Kevin may have done that on purpose because he didn't want to have to deal with all that pressure. And in my opinion, there was, it was a little bit late in the race for that. But here, there's plenty of time. And now, Kevin can apply the pressure on McGrath.
Villeman on the inside of Mike LaRocco. LaRocco just won't have it. The Amsoil Factory Connection Honda barely holding on to 3rd. In the whoops, Villeman is so good. Villeman, a good black pass. But look at the speed that LaRocco got out of that corner.
Yeah, that's like trying to move a brick wall. And with all that messing around, look at Carmichael's back in the mix.
Oh, what a great battle for 3rd. A 3-way battle, LaRocco, Villeman, and Carmichael.
Carmichael rides with a lot of emotion. If he recognizes that he's not going fast enough, but he wants to be in this mix, he'll just wick it up and take the chances. And right now, that's what he has to do because Tortelli's catching him.
LaRocco's been on the podium 5 times. He's looking to make it number 6. Villeman and Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael getting back in the picture against the Team Yamaha rider. Look at this. Team Kawasaki versus Team Yamaha. Villeman looks back at Ricky Carmichael, RC. Just can't quite make the move. Can't pull the trigger on Villeman.
Keeping him honest. These guys are pushing each other so hard.
Let's go trackside to Davey.
Keep an eye on Villeman if he gets close to LaRocco again. He told me before the race that he didn't think LaRocco liked him one bit. I said, why? And he said, well, in practice last week at Minneapolis, I accidentally ran into him, and he gave me that look like he was going to hit me.
He just might, but he'll want to do it a little later in the race so that LaRocco won't have time to retaliate.
Yeah, I don't think that was paranoia.
LaRocco is not shy when he wants to move up a spot. Jeremy McGrath and Kevin Windham battle it out. Will Jeremy McGrath be able to hold off the Team Yamaha rider who was looking for his first win of the year? Jeremy McGrath holds on to the lead. We'll be back. Was riding behind him.
You know, right now, Kevin's just out there just waiting for the laps to wind down, waiting for the place to make his moves, studying everything McGrath's doing. Later in the race, lapped riders will be able to perhaps work to the advantage of Kevin because he'll be able to see the whole situation where Jeremy's going to have to commit. So I don't think Kevin, with the nerves that he's talked about that have kept him from riding his best, are a problem right now. He can stay with McGrath right here, apparently with apparent ease.
Last time here in Pontiac, he crashed to 14th and came back to 5th.
That's right. So, and as a matter of fact, that was the first race in about 4 or 5 where he did actually make progress towards the end of the race. Even though the finish wasn't impressive, at least he was passing riders and riding fast towards the end. Watch when they come out of this corner and triple up over this mountain. It's just phenomenal. They're jumping through the ruts all the way up over that, landing into more ruts. The technical skill of these guys just off the scale.
Jeremy McGrath so far has not made that crucial mistake. And even Jeremy is human. We've seen that happen from time to time, but not very often.
Well, whenever I see this, I think back to Tampa when Jeremy had the lead and Kevin just stayed back there and wore on him, finally made the move. Jeremy can be beat. Kevin knows it. He's just got to stay close. If he makes a mistake and loses contact, that's what Jeremy's hoping for, then he just has no chance.
One thing about Jeremy McGrath's domination of the past is he's been able to get a lead in that first 8 laps and not be pressured after that. This is not the case here in Pontiac.
No, we're approaching lap 10, the halfway point, and Kevin is very much in this battle, forcing Jeremy to worry about what line he's taking. Jeremy just shifted his line there because that's where Kevin was going. He's got to stay in contact, though. Jeremy's patient. He knows that you just can't pull away from a guy like Kevin Windham. He has to be patient, knowing he can just inch away, and he just did there a moment ago. If Kevin can close that gap, we got a race.
If you just tuned in and said, hey, he said Pontiac, they're not going up into the stands? A lot of the riders said the same thing. It doesn't feel like Pontiac because in recent years, of course, we've had the turnstile up and around into the stands here at Pontiac at the Silverdome. But with 2 rounds here this year, they've changed the construction of the track, the over-under, the sand whoops. And Jeremy McGrath now is starting to build a lead on Kevin Windham.
It's that patience I was talking about. Kevin was trying to keep the pressure on, and it was working, but I talked about it. He couldn't afford a mistake. He made a couple, lapped riders, made a bad decision. Jeremy opened up the gap, and it's just widening out even more now. Jeremy knows that he's not going to make a mistake. He was just banking on Kevin getting tired, making some, and he just made another one right there. Jeremy stretched it out even more.
Now, the big one was a mistake on the 222 for Kevin Windham, and it gave McGrath some breathing room where he had only about 0.2 of a second per lap on Kevin Windham. Now he's starting to stretch it out. And the brilliance of the 6-time champion and defending champ of 250 Supercross is starting to shine right now.
And if Kevin is starting to fade slightly, he cannot afford to fade much more because LaRocco's back there, Villeman is back there. Those guys get stronger in the last 5 laps.
Jeremy McGrath, another stellar year for this man. 7 wins with 5 races left. Well, less than that now, of course. But a remarkable 10 podiums. 4th place was Jeremy's worst finish this year.
Look at the airtime those guys get, and good thing. Look at those ruts they're jumping over. Jeremy and a lot of these guys, the guys with that great finesse, guys like Kevin, they try to time, as soon as these ruts get into the face of some of these jumps, they try to change their timing and jump over those.
Jeremy's had his ups and downs here in Pontiac. 1997, he was leading the race and crashed. And then, of course, the famous triple clamp that broke in 98. And that was his first and only DNF in his Supercross history. So anything could still happen to Jeremy McGrath despite the confident move he shows us right here.
Kevin actually stayed even that last lap, if not picked up about 0.2 of a second. and they've got a clear track here for a while and don't have to deal with any lappers. So
David Villeman in fourth place behind LaRocco and Wyndham. And he'll lose some ground in the points race if he can't pick it up as he looks at the lapper Heath Voss. Back to our number one. He's had his share of wins here, that's for sure.
Guarantee McGrath was here. You could tell in McGrath's post-race interview last week that he already was just irritated. It didn't really come off well. It sounded like excuses, but he's not very used to losing. And I admire a guy that hates to lose to the point where you can sense it in his interview. But I guarantee he worked out hard, put in a lot of laps, and he's proven right now that he did his homework.
Well, on the upside, Jeremy, of course, led every lap here earlier in February for the win. In fact, it was his last hole shot before tonight.
Reaches over and tightens that clutch up a little bit. That's what he does. They started to get a little bit of play as that clutch heats up. He reaches over and turns that little dial that they've made that he can reach in the air and takes the play back out.
Last year he won leading 20 laps, but the one I really respected was 94 when he went to the LCQ. And for the first time that I can remember, won a main event after winning a last chance qualifier. So can Jeremy McGrath continue to be flawless here in Pontiac number 2? Will McGrath is our leader in Pontiac number 2, but Kevin Wyndham and Mike LaRocco are starting to get closer together. Kevin Wyndham in second. LaRocco wants his second consecutive second place. Anything messes up too, David Villeman and Ricky Carmichael are the next in the order here on this terrific track.
It looks to me like what LaRocco is famous for, and that is getting stronger at the end, is coming into play here again. And Kevin worked so hard, taking its toll now.
Look at that, Mike LaRocco. Kevin Wyndham trying to box him out, but he slips it. And Mike LaRocco moves into second place now.
Well, it'd be such a bonus, even though Kevin has lost that lead, lost the time to McGrath. If he can hang on to the podium right now and just improve his performance one more position over last week, know that he led the race a while, pushed McGrath, a big boost, but he's got Villeman back there.
With some 4 laps remaining in our main event, our 250 main event here in Pontiac, it's still not clear whether Villeman can't pick up some action. Look at Villeman. Let's go down to Davey Combs trackside.
You know, watching that pass, we saw Mike LaRocco come up on Wyndham. I got to ask you guys, with the absence of people like Ezra Lusk and Jeff Emig, have these 250 guys lost the ability to go in and make contact? David, I don't know how about you, but I remember watching you guys. You guys were fierce, and today it looks like, I don't know, people are afraid to hit each other.
It does a little bit. It looks like they don't want to start anything, start any bad karma, because you know if you hit somebody, they're going to come back and hit you, and you never know really when that's going to happen.
Mike LaRocco now is pulling within 4 seconds of Jeremy McGrath. Now, does he have enough laps left to catch him at that speed?
Well, McGrath,
I don't think he does.
Could have put it into cruise control a little bit. He's done that before, and I guarantee you that he's going to get that signal when he comes to the mechanics area after Phoenix. That'll never happen again. It's going to be a big neon board with flashing lights.
The surprise race in which Villeman caught up and passed Jeremy McGrath, and Jeremy said, I did not know he was there. Here's the battle for third. Villeman still trying to get in front of number 14, Kevin Wyndham.
Well, these guys have stayed close. I was actually nervous at the start of this race. I'm not even down there, but I just had a feeling all these guys were on a track.
Look at the ruts.
Riding so close that this would be a close race.
Villeman cuts now in front of Kevin Wyndham.
And that was something they were able to triple earlier, and they would have tripled that even though he cut that corner so tight a little earlier in this race, but the ruts have gotten so deep. In one lap, you can lose a couple of seconds just from a few mistakes. Jeremy's still up over the big obstacles. See if he jumps this one still. I can't even believe how good and how well these guys ride and what they're able to jump over, and lap after lap in ruts, in traffic, with pressure, everything riding on it. It's just amazing. If you stand down on the floor and look how high Jeremy is getting out of a corner with about a 20-foot run, if that, to jump up over a jump 45 feet away.
If you come early to those races left in New Orleans and Texas Stadium and Las Vegas and so forth, go down as close to the track as you possibly can and just see how high these dirt mounds get. It's scary for the normal person just to look at it. But for these guys, with 2 laps to go, Jeremy McGrath is breezing.
He's got LaRocco closing. He knows it.
LaRocco still 4 seconds in back of McGrath with 2 laps to go.
This is the first time I've seen McGrath go to that inside. He changed his line. LaRocco's been taking that line the whole time. So that advantage that McGrath usually gets up over that big jump, he's not going to get this time. LaRocco should be able to close that gap a little bit more.
Anticipating more excitement now. This is the final lap, the white flag lap. Mike LaRocco will go all out to try to catch the leader, Jeremy McGrath. You can see him at the end of that whoop section as we go back to Jeremy on the triple.
He got a little squirrely the last time through in the sand. But Jeremy's pretty solid. He's able to acknowledge the fans. He's obviously feeling pretty comfortable about it. Everything's got to be just right. LaRocco has ridden a fantastic race. To come through the pack the way he did. It was a pretty good start, but he still had to get past these guys and into second. Put the pressure on Jeremy.
Yeah, I was going to say on a tight track too, David.
He just figures out a way. The guy, he can just mail in second. He is so strong.
McGrath looking at the checkers. The flashbulbs pop, and Jeremy McGrath wins his 8th race of the year 2000 in Supercross. And Kevin Windham holds on to 3rd over David Villeman. That's quite an accomplishment, David.
Well, a couple things happen right there. That helps McGrath. You can see the relief right there. He's going, whoo. After last week, it was starting to get tight. He's sweating. He's stretched it back out right now, and Kevin Windham just helped him put 2 more points on Villeman.
2 very valuable points. Bob Oliver of Team Yamaha coming over to give him a high five. Yamaha now with 11 wins. 12 wins on this season, ties the all-time record of 12 set back in 1980. Yamaha getting 12 wins on that season. Mike LaRocco, a well-deserved 2nd place. Paul Deloria, his mechanic on the left side. Drew Shane. Sebastian Tortelli's mechanic on the other side of him.
The difference in LaRocco's face, shaking his head a little bit, just going, yeah, I know it was a good ride. I'm sick of hearing that. I want to win. Look at him.
So Mike LaRocco with a 2nd place finish. We're anxious to hear from our winner, Jeremy McGrath, when we return to the Silverdome in Pontiac.
For you. Well, I could see Mike behind me there at the end, and in the beginning, Kevin was riding great. You know, he was, I mean, we were neck and neck there, and I put a little pass on him and kind of closed him out, and I think that's the only way you can get through on this track. And I was kind of hoping that he would get a little more tired than that in the beginning, and he didn't. So I had to kind of make my move and get away because Mike was coming.
What about the start? We were talking about how you lined up on the outside, man. You had to get a perfect jump to get out of there safely. You did just that.
Well, I would like to thank Doug from Bridgestone. You know, we've been running a little bit shorter knob, and it's a little loose tonight, and we kind of came up with a combination together to get a little bit more bite on the track. And I mean, you're right, I had to be perfect because I was on the outside, but my strategy last week with the inside didn't work too good, so I'd rather be out there by myself and see what I can do. I overran the first corner a little bit, though.
Finally, this is one of those pace super fun races. You know, it's another 20 grand in the bank for you.
Yeah, I know. You know, I didn't even know I won the other 2 until tonight, so, you know, that's kind of cool. It's a little bit extra bonus, and I got a long ways to go, though. You know, Villeman's running that 2-race 500 grand series, so we'll see what happens.
Well, just think of it this way. No matter what he makes in Vegas, chances are looking good that the way things are, you're going to go home with the crown, well, your 7th crown here in the Supercross series.
Well, you know, I couldn't do without the team. Chaparral, Mazda, Yamaha. I had Gary Simics out at my house this year training really hard, and, you know, my mechanic Randy, my whole family, everyone behind me, and, you know, we've come a long way, and I think this year is probably my best year so far in 3 years, so it's looking good. I'm happy to do what I'm doing for Yamaha.
Jeremy, his mechanic Randy Lawrence, now on to take care of those duties only a winner has to worry about.
The Honda results page showing us the official finishing positions. Wyndham back on the podium for the first time since January 22nd. A winning challenge by David Villeman, lasting only one race this time, but as Jeremy reminded us, though, Villeman still has that Vans Triple Crown to look forward to in Las Vegas. Don't forget, that's live pay-per-view. Michael Craig, the best results of the 10 privateers in this race, in 10th position. More tough luck for Larry Ward. Let's hear from the other two podium winners now.
With a couple Honda riders down here, we're chasing after Jeremy. First of all, you, Mike, you didn't have that good of a start, but man, what an ending.
Yeah, imagine that. No, actually, my AMSOIL competition accessories Honda worked great. Like it's been all year, I felt great out there, and especially in the whoops, and I think that's what made up a lot of time. And you know, I managed to put some time on Jeremy, but as always, not enough time.
What if they had one of these Supercross races that was, say, 25, maybe 30 laps? Could you get them?
Yeah, I'm trying to work in a union so we can get that changed. That would be great.
Okay, right here, third place. Now, Kevin, what a fantastic start. You're riding right there with Jeremy. And even when he went by you, you hung tough. What happened in the middle of the race?
I started tightening up a little bit. We were holding a pretty good pace, and you know, I felt this pressure behind me, and you know, he got by me, and I was able to stick with him for a lot of laps, and I felt like I was going to stay with him for the whole time, you know, and hopefully make a late race pass. But I started getting a little nervous and tightening up a little bit, and you know, I'm happy with third this weekend. It's a hell of a lot better than what I've been doing. So you know, I'd like to thank all my sponsors for helping get me here. Honda, 1-800-COLLECT, No Fear, Dunlop Tires, Alpine Star Boots, Araya Helmets, Scott Goggles.
Good job, Kevin. You know what? Coming back on Villeman like that at the end, you got to take a little bit home with that. That was a nice victory for you.
Yeah, at the end, you know, he got by me, and I was like, man, I gotta dig deep for the podium. And you know, the middle part of the race, it's, you know, I felt my arms coming on. I kind of relaxed a little bit, and I think that's you know, once I dropped back and started to relax a little bit, I think that's what gave me the little extra drive to get Villeman back with you know, 2 laps to go. Thanks.
Hopefully this late season improvement continues for Kevin. It's been a rather frustrating season for the 5-time winner. Taking a look at the Suzuki points, McGrath by 32 over David Villeman. With 4 races left, it appears if McGrath stays on course, the percentages are anyway, he could wrap things up in Chicago. His teammate on the Chaparral team, Tim Ferry, rounding out the top 10. David, your final thoughts.
That Jeremy McGrath is the undisputed king. I mean, anytime he has something he needs to come back and prove, he can do it. And the way he did it tonight, starting from the outside, having that confidence, just lean in on everybody, get around Kevin, hold off the pressure of LaRocco. The guy is just unbelievable and stretches out that lead even more.
Our next telecast here on ESPN2, round 13, coming to you from Texas Stadium, the Dallas Supercross. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, thanking you for being with us here in Pontiac, Michigan at the Silver Dome this evening. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.